Have you ever had a roof cave in and unable to eat in your cafeteria? How about not being able to attend school because there was no air conditioning? Welcome to public school. Lack of funding and racial discrimination is one of the top two most present things in Philadelphia public schools, as well as surrounding schools in the Pennsylvania area, as well as New York and New Jersey statistics show. By listening to this speech, you'll be able to comprehend how much of a struggle it is to attend a public school and realize the importance of funding and how it affects more than just the building. To begin, public school students are discriminated against in their own communities. Suburban teachers disrespect students because of their race for simple things such as when a student messes up a question or gets something wrong. For example, a teacher called a student the M-word because they got the question wrong, and they yelled at the car and the parents recorded it for proof. Racial discrimination has become normalized in public schools, which then leads to the discrimination of the community as a whole. My second example will be students in poverty being unable to obtain free lunch, uniform donations, book bags, etc. This is all because of the lack of funding in public schools. For example, Philadelphia public schools specifically have less to no lunch options for children in poverty because they don't have the funding to feed students for free anymore. This is an issue because Philadelphia is one of the leading states or cities, that has students in poverty, and public schools are in the center of where the students live, which is why it is an issue. An example of this would be students getting suspended for being out of uniform only because donations couldn't be made without the funding, and students can't afford that most of the time. Therefore, they wear the regular clothes to school and then get in trouble for it. Lack of funding troubles students and takes privileges away, and students can be suspended because of these issues. Adding on, school buildings themselves fall apart. For example, me personally, my high school academy at Palumbo in South Philly fell apart. The roof caved in because the rain for about a week straight made the roof cave in because of the weight. This then led to classrooms getting flooded because the water dropped down from the roof to each floor in the classroom. The cafeteria couldn't be used because it was on the roof, and students were forced to eat in the auditorium for about 3 days until the whole thing then came in and we couldn't go to school at all. We lost education for about a week until they finally fixed it and got a $100,000 donation from the school district of Philadelphia, which still didn't help the funding, but it helped the roof at least. This caused a loss of education, as I said, and they couldn't even transfer us to other schools because we had to be transferred home. Students lose even more education because they have no choice but to leave school from overbearing heat, for example, when the air conditioning can't be funded. Another example from public schools is that they have to take away air conditioners because they cost too much money in electrical things that they cannot afford. This is my visual aid, so I'm gonna wait about 30 seconds. Okay, so in this visual aid, you see my school, the roof caving down. And you can see how traumatic it was. All news teams were there, it was a big deal, and now my high school is very known because of that situation, sadly. School buildings can collapse at any time. The idea is that the money will be put forward for fixing them, but it isn't, therefore causing harms to students, faculty, and anyone who is involved with the school district. To close, public school students face detriments on a daily basis. Racial discrimination causes students to not even want to attend schools anymore, but then again they have no choice but to attend them because public schools are in their neighborhoods. Mandatory evacuations are needed when lack of funding causes overbearing heat, roofs caving in, for example, and in the winter even just too cold for you to bear. Funding issues cause things such as students getting suspended for not wearing uniform, and students not being able to even have book bags or supplies for schools because they depend on their neighborhood to help them out, especially the school district. To close, as a graduate from a public school and someone who has always attended them, it's hard for me to hear about situations like this. Just imagine, if your child was called a racist slur by someone they trust, or had to lose education because money wasn't put into the school, what would you do? Thank you.